What's up, internet? My name is Kyle, back with another video about cameras, tech, and all that good stuff. Today we're going to talk about a flash. It is the Godox, and it's the Sony version of this flash, model TT350. Today I wanted to talk about the Godox TT350 flash for the Sony a6000 because it's a cheaper flash, it works really well, and I also have a horror story dealing with another flash and what led me to get this one, and I'll tell you guys about that in a bit. So yeah, this is the box that it comes in. I actually got this from a camera store, which I'll tell you why I got it from a store a little later. Let's open this bad boy up. So the flash actually comes in this little Velcro bag, nothing too fancy. Opens up with the flash inside there, fits nicely. You can put extra batteries in there if you need to. The flash does come with a little diffuser type hood, which you put on the top of the flash like so. This flash also comes with a little stand, which you can place it on a table, point it anywhere you want to point it to, and you can use it with a remote, which is available, I think, for only like $20 or $30 more than if you just got the flash by itself. As for ratings and how long two AA batteries will last and how many flashes you get, I've heard and read it's about 200 plus flashes. I think it's like 220 flashes. I could be off by a little bit, depending on how you use it, how often you use it. But just know that you will probably have to have more than two AA batteries if you're at an event or any type of shoot. I'm sure you're gonna take more than 200 photos, so just be aware of that. It's a smaller flash, a little less battery, you know, distance or life. So yeah, bring extra batteries, but you know, AA's are everywhere. Other standard stuff is a warranty card that comes in the box, and also a manual, which is very important. There are a lot of videos that show how to use this flash with all the different type of modes, you know, multi-strobe or remote. This manual also does cover that information pretty well, so I'm not gonna go over everything. I'm just gonna go over what I use this flash for. So yeah, instruction manual, very important. So now that we got that crude unboxing out of the way, I'm gonna show you real quick just how I use this flash. And I use it in TTL mode. So you can use this flash in TTL mode, manual mode, or multi-strobe mode. I just use it in TTL. Like I said, it's an automatic mode. It judges the power based off of, you know, the camera settings and everything like that. And I find that it works really well. So to put it in that mode, you turn the flash on by holding the power button. And then you can see the menu here. It shows that it is in TTL mode. The focal length that it's set to is 24, and it's set to manual. You can set the focal length to automatic as well, which if you don't want to think about any settings, I recommend doing that. How you do that is you just press zoom, and then you can scroll through with the wheel between, what's the lowest? 24 to 105, or you can just leave it on automatic and hit set in the middle there, and you're all good. So we're in automatic power and automatic focal length, and you're all set to go. What I'm actually not sure is the focal length, if it's accounting for full frame or it's taking in crop factor based off of what the lens is telling the camera and all that good stuff. I would just assume that it's full frame, but it's probably in the manual. If you're not familiar with what this is a hot shoe connector. If it was a cold shoe connector, it wouldn't have any digital kind of electronic interface. A hot shoe does, hence the word hot. This is a hot shoe connector flash, so it does have a digital interface. So how you connect it is you simply slide this in the connector like so, and as soon as it's all the way in the front, you can then tighten this down to the camera like so it doesn't slide out for any reason, and you are all set. Now I have my flash on. As you can see, the backlight's on as well. The backlight doesn't have to be on for the flash to be on, and I'm gonna turn on my camera. Now, this illuminated button right here is a test button, so when you press that, you're going to see a test flash. So, if you're tasked with your a6000 to shoot like a reception or something indoors where you need a flash, a wedding, anything like that, this will get the job done. You're not gonna be able to shoot like a giant cathedral type wedding because this isn't gonna be powerful enough to bounce off all the walls and fill in everything, but just kind of take that into consideration. It's not the biggest flash, but it is a very capable flash for different venues and different kind of events. Okay, so this is what it looks like on the a6000. It's pointed all the way straight up. What you can also do with most flashes is that you can point it downward in different angles, varying on what your flash can do. And throughout any of these motions, you can also turn the flash completely around so you're bouncing off, say, a back wall. You also have the same range of motions that way as you do when it's facing forwards. And if you want to, you can also turn it the other way, but not all the way around. It's not 360 on both sides. Now this bounce card, flash card, whatever you want to call it, is actually one of my least favorite things about this flash. It takes a lot of maneuvering to get it out. If I had nails or anything like that, maybe I could get it, or maybe you can use like something or some type of tool to get this thing out, but it's really hard to get out. Got it. Nice. So it has the diffuser and it also has a bounce card. Now it's very important to slide them all the way back in when they click. If you don't have it click all the way back in, and I found this out the hard way, you can't change the zoom length anymore. So if you leave it on auto, it's fine, but if you have that out, you can't change it. So you need to change it before you bring that out, and if you want to change it again, you need to push it all the way back in. I tried to beat the system because it's so difficult to get out. I tried to leave it just a little bit ajar, and then I couldn't change the zoom length, and it took me forever to figure that out. Actually, I had to Google it. As you change your camera settings, like I'm changing the aperture right now, nothing changes on your flash when you have it in TTL mode. It kind of does everything automatically and doesn't really display anything for you to see that's changing. So I'm gonna go ahead and take a pic, and boom, boom, boom. So I think this flash is like a perfect companion for the a6000 for a couple reasons. One, it's really small. Two, it's really light. And three, it's not ultra mega powerful, it's just the right amount of power. The a6000 is not meant to be like a professional wedding camera, and neither is this flash really. But you can definitely use this type of kit to shoot a wedding, shoot a reception, and I think you will really like the results. If you guys wanna know what some photos look like with this flash, I will go ahead and show you guys some sample images now. So I alluded to earlier that there was a little story behind this guy and how I got him, and I bought it in a camera store rather than online. And that is because the Makey flash right here, the Speedlight 420, MK420, failed on my girlfriend when she was doing photography for a wedding reception at this restaurant. Everything was going fine. We tested this the week prior. Meg also tested a couple shots at the venue, but then as things, started rolling, she had to take pictures of the families and everything. It just stopped working. So Meg did her best with the on-camera flash of the Sony a6000 and trying to bend it and bounce it off the ceiling and stuff, and it worked okay, but she was in trouble, so I had to find a solution, and that's where this guy came in. Best Buy really doesn't carry flashes for the a6000 or Sony cameras really in general, unless you're next to like a specialty Best Buy. So I had to find a camera store that was open. Cardinal camera came in the clutch. I found this guy and it worked out great. And the best part about it is that it's battery operated, AA batteries. The huge problem with this and why it failed in the first place is the battery or the battery compartment where they go in. So this flash, you know, similarly came in a nice little bag. You know, it has a similar diffuser thing on the end of it. Everything's cool, pretty much the same kind of deal. It's a little bit bigger, a little more powerful. It may have other bells and whistles, doesn't really matter. I just wanted it for TTL mode. And yeah, it started flashing that the battery was dead when it was fully charged. The battery's on the side here. I hit that, it juts out, you take out the battery, and then you place it in a charger. Now the charger says the battery's all good, says it's fully charged. So we thought this thing was all good. It was even a little more expensive than the Godox flash. However, when you turn this thing on with a fully charged battery, it tells you low power. No matter if the battery's fully charged or half charged, whatever it is, it just says it has low power. And we tested this thing and we used it. So I don't know why all of a sudden it just decided to die at a wedding reception. So my girlfriend called me in a panic saying, this is what's happening. This is what's showing on the screen. I don't know what's going on. I said, I have no idea. I looked in the manual, I looked online, there was no solution. So the only solution was to use the on-camera flash for as long as possible until I could get a replacement flash to her. So even now, we should probably get 2 Godox flashes, even though they're battery operated. But in the case of using a flash with a lithium ion battery, it just didn't work. And then even when I bought a replacement battery for this, so now I have 2 batteries for this, it still doesn't work. So it's gotta be the compartment inside the flash or something like that. I trust the flash more now with just AA batteries because you can buy them virtually anywhere, Walmart, convenience stores, wherever you are, and you'll always have that option to put in your flash rather than a rechargeable battery that may stop working, just die, malfunction, or the compartment that takes the batteries apparently. I have no idea. I'm outside of the return window for this, so I'm kind of stuck with a dead flash. Maybe I'll email Makey and say, hey, what's up with this thing? I don't know. But the Godox flash works great. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I really like this thing. It's pretty cheap in my opinion. It's under 100 bucks. If you want the remote shutter, I think it goes over 100. But yeah, definitely worth the money in my opinion. I've heard a lot of good things about Godox, and this is our first experience with them, and I really like it. What about you guys? What flashes do you use? Have you used the Makey flash that didn't work for me? Have you had the same problem where no battery works for it? Or do you have a battery operated flash where you just throw in some AA's and you're good to go? Let me know what you guys think about this video and flashes and all that stuff, and let me know if you have any questions. I will try and answer them, but I am a beginner in the flash photography world. And as always, I will have links in the description for Amazon for this flash and any other equipment that I use. If you guys use any of those links when buying stuff online, it really helps me. It supports this channel and everything like that. But please find the gear where it's cheapest for you. That wraps it up. That's about it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Later.